Check out these that just came in the post the other day. So sick. Don't know what I'm putting them on yet. Something special. Anyway, welcome to another video. I don't normally stand this close to the camera because, but there's a big box down here which I can't tell you what's in it yet. It's coming in a few videos time, but that's why I'm so close to the camera. Just in case you're wondering. Anyway, this is a RockHopper update. I wanted to do this ages ago, but I just hadn't got around to it. I started this a few weeks ago, but never kind of completed it. So here we are. When I first built this bike, I think I even said it in the video, but I know I've talked about it since in the comments with you guys. But there was a few things on there that I kind of wasn't completely happy with. They just kind of like, that's what I had at the time. The main thing was the drivetrain. It was a 1x9 system. The 9 part of it was fine. Like it's a SRAM. I want to say it was like maybe 30 on the back. It was 30 something. It was fine, but it wasn't kind of enough. Not with the one on the front anyway. So I wanted to do something a bit beefier, and it took me a long time to work out what I wanted. I've seen the Advent X drivetrain system millions of times since it first came out, and every time I see it I'm just like, I really want that. But it's not always available in the UK. I don't think it's one of those products that maybe ships over here as often. It's certainly, or is that popular, who knows, but I certainly have found it really hard to find them. And when you do find them, they're always really expensive, so I just haven't bothered. But I think it was Wiggle had a sale on, and I bought 2 lots of them. If you haven't heard of the Advent X, it's a drivetrain system made by a company called microSHIFT. They make affordable drivetrains, but not only just affordable, they have clutches, they're made out of high-end materials, and from my experience so far, they work bloody well. You probably say at this point, they didn't send it to me, they didn't pay me to say any of these nice things. I said a minute ago, I bought it, I bought 2. So the one I went for was the 10-speed. It's 1158, which is huge, and I don't think I've ever had that on many of my bikes. Yeah, that's because you haven't, because it's not 1158, it's 1148, so you lied to yourself and everybody else. Maybe on my full suspension bike maybe it's 58. Is it though? I don't know. It's a big gear ratio. But yeah, I've always wondered what it'd be like to have that sort of ratio on a bike of this age, and I thought, what other bike to try it on than this? So without waffling on about nothing, let's get to this. I also do a few extra upgrades at the end, and the tyres as well, but we'll get to it. Let's tinker with the RockHopper. Right then, this is my 1990 something Specialized RockHopper, and needs some upgrades. When I first released the video, you and everybody, and me included, none of us liked this bash guard and the chainring. The crank itself was always going to be temporary anyway. The DTH, I put these on temporarily whilst I was commuting on it for a couple of weeks. They need to go back to some nice chunky knobbly things. And then the drivetrain, this was a SRAM X4. It's brilliant, but I have something better for it, as you already know. But it does look kind of sick with those DTH, doesn't it? Maybe I will build it as a commuter one day. But first, let's go full mountain bike. I've only actually ridden this bike for about 30 or 40 miles on this chain, so the chain will definitely get used again because it looks nice, but it won't be good enough for this bigger drivetrain I'm putting on it. The derailleur as well it's a really nice drivetrain. I do like the 9 by SRAM stuff, but well, we're gonna do something better. There's 2 versions of the shifter, a pro version and a non-pro. This is the non-pro. The only difference I can really see is the pro version has like rubber grips on the actual triggers themselves. Really love the DTH, but this is my retro mountain bike, so it needs to change. So off of these and on with these. These are Specialized ground controls.
not used them before, found them on a website, really good deal, so I thought I'd give them a whirl. Let's get this old crank off then. I say old, it was brand new, but it just doesn't fit this build. There's just something there. Next is the cassette. This is a 1148, which is huge, and I'm super excited about sending it up hills. It looks sick, and it kind of sounds good. That's the wheel, not the cassette, obviously. Next, we've got the new derailleur. It's pretty well made. This is known as quite a budget kind of derailleur, but it's solid. It's pretty much all metal as far as I can tell, and yeah, it feels pretty good. I was just checking the clearance here because you always wonder with these big sets whether it's going to work properly, and it seems pretty good. So as you probably guessed from the last video, this was going to go on the RockHopper. This was a specialized crank, so I figured I'd use it on the RockHopper. But when I put it on, the chain line was a bit wrong. It just wasn't good enough for my liking. A good tip is using like a chain or something, or in this case it's just a bit of old cabling, and then you can like move it into a better location where you'd want the chain, and you can match it up with a different crankset. So we're swapping it out for a different crankset. So I'm taking the BB out because we're going to change it over to a Holotech. I used, or attempted to use this on one of my last builds. I think it was on the M-Trax, and I couldn't find this BB, but I found it now, so we're doing this crankset. I also wanted to get the medium chainring on here, but unfortunately I don't have any other decent 5 bolted cranks, so we're going to this one, which is work components, which is fine. So I've just finished bolting it all up, and it was rubbing, and I had no idea why it was rubbing. Every time I turned the crank, there was a horrible sound, until I noticed that the washer was here on the arm of the chair, and that is meant to be there, and I forgot to put it there, and I'm annoyed about it. So after fixing that, we move over to the chain. This is a Gusset Oil Slick GS. It came with one of those kind of like pins you put in chains, like the old style, plus a quick link. But I'm just going to use the quick link because I'm not going to use the pin, right? So I was testing it out before I put the cable on, and there was a weird rubbing sound. I couldn't work out what it was that was doing it. Gets up into that big cog though, so that's pretty cool. But I just couldn't work out what the sound was until I had a close look, and basically the chain went next to the jockey wheel. So there's normally a little like metal plate. It just wasn't threaded through properly, and it's rubbing its that. So idiot. Obviously this is just holding it by hand. When the cable is on there, it'll be a little bit less noisy, but pretty impressed. Now just to get all the housing kind of back all lined up. The front brake was really weird, but when I put that cable back on, it was back to normal, so I was worried I was going to have to redo that, but yeah, kind of nice. Apart from, actually, I did notice this, like, that angle of the cable looks a little bit off, but if you look at the manual it says it's okay, so I ran with it. Yeah, I know, I looked at the manual, weird. But after quite a bit of fine tuning later, I was happy with the way it shifted. Last couple of little fiddly bits. I want to put a frame bag on this bike, so I've got a side kind of bottle mount thing, and this I only put on there temporarily just to see how it looked, but one of these big 2 litre or litre bottle mounts, and it looks pretty sick. I like it, but I did take it off, but it looks good at the moment, so let's go stare at it more. first impressions, this drivetrain is sick. I've only ridden it a couple of miles, so I can't talk about it too much. The tyres as well, really, really good. Loads and loads of grip. The back one does rub slightly. Actually, since recording this, I have now fixed that. Just need a little tweaking, but it looks cool. I'm really into it. I love the bags and stuff, the mudguards, everything's looking great. Oh, I also added these sticky fingers. Never used them before. I mean, Seth bloody swears by them, so thought I'd try them out, see if they're cool. But real life shifting, nice. Shifts like a dream. So I took it for a bit of a spin, just a couple of miles. Had to go and make a couple of deliveries, so had this big old box on my Chrome bag. Shout out to Chrome Industries. Go and follow Chrome Europe on Instagram. They're the ones that hooked me up with all my Chrome stuff, and they're awesome people. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. I absolutely love this bike.
Cool, and that's the end of another video. As I mentioned a second ago, I've only ridden this, it was a few miles, if that, and I've not finished. I want to take it on a big, long epic. Epic might be a bit of a stretch. I've got a newborn, I ain't going no epics. But I want to at least take it out for a decent ride. And then I'll probably do an actual review video on this drivetrain system, because I'm sure you guys are going to have lots of questions about it. So if you do have lots of questions about anything about this video, do let me know down below. I know I'm pretty slow about replying to comments on my YouTube videos, but I will go through them. I'm going to go down through the list over the next couple of days and try and catch up myself. So please ask me questions. I do like hearing them. But other than that, I think we'll leave it there. One more thing, Median, the guys who make these awesome chainrings, they are still offering you guys a free sticker pack with any order. All you have to do is add a sticker pack to your order and use this code here, and you get free stickers, and they're 6 stickers. I should have found them last week. I said, let me put them on the screen here. They're right there on my face right now, aren't they? They're really good stickers. You can have those for free. And you can get one of these cool chain rings. So yeah, go do that. If you like my wafflings, why don't you subscribe to the channel by clicking that little face. And then if you want to hang around and watch some more videos, this one is a particularly good one.